Hey there. Today we're going to look at assignment 7 for 1120 section 602. Assignment 7 is talking about robots replacing skilled workers. In the directions it says up to 10 skilled workers and up to 10 robots. So we're going to make this spreadsheet dynamic instead of static. So the first thing we're going to do is take care of our assumptions, and let's go ahead and document them on the spreadsheet so that we don't have to worry about it. And the assumptions are the time units, hours per year per employee, the employee rate per hour, and the cost of the robots. And once again, that will be a fixed cost, but not necessarily static. So let's give our header some room here. And the time is going to be in years. And the hours, if you'll notice in the header, it's 52 weeks times 40 hours per week. That comes up to 2,080. The rate per hour is $20. And the cost of the robot, and the instructions say $40,000. And besides being really cheap, that comes up to almost a one-to-one relationship with the human. So we're going to change that to 75,000, and it really doesn't matter because we can change this later, and if we want to meet the strict requirements of the assignment, and it'll still work out. But let's go ahead and start with those for now, and let's go ahead and merge and center this guy. And where's my button? There it is, merge and center. And we're going to make it red, and we're going to make the text, we're going to make the text white and the fill red, just so we know. And some borders here. Okay, and then we're going to have some variables, and variables is kind of a loose term, but it'll work for what we want to do here. And that's going to be the number of employees and the number of robots. And once again, we're just going to put anything we want in here. And right now, let's just do 2 and 10. Let's go ahead and merge that. And once again, let's make it look the same. And same thing here. And give it some borders. Alright, so we've got enough to start building our spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to create a column called years, and then employee cost. And we're going to put the units up here because we don't want to have to deal with currency format. So anytime you don't put the units in the cell, you need to have them defined in the header. And then the change between those two columns, and I've called that delta. And so that's US dollars on everything. Let's expand those out. All right, let's do some cleaning up here. All right, so the years, let's just do 1 through the end of the page here. And we're going to do a serial fill. And it didn't go as a serial fill, so I'm going to click there and I'm going to tell it fill series. All right, now so we have 35 years. Part of what we want to do here now is create formulas that will not change on us. We're going to set up our employee cost as a formula. So we're going to start off the cell with an equal sign to tell it it's a formula. The first thing we're going to do is click over here on the first year, and it brings that value in. Now we don't want the column to change as we do a serial fill, so we're going to hit F4 until we get $A and 11. That makes a static reference on the A column and a relative reference on the 11 row. We're going to multiply that, so we put our asterisk out there. We're going to multiply it by the hours per year, and that's that one right there. And once again, we want this to be very static. We don't want this changing at all. So we're going to hit F4 so that we have a dollar sign on the column as well as the row. The third thing we're going to multiply by is the rate per hour, and once again this is strictly a static reference, so we hit F4 again, we get the $C, $3, and then the last factor we'll have in here is the number of employees. Once again, fully static, and whoops, wrong key. We hit F4, we get $A, $7. Okay, hit enter or the checkbox to save it. And now as we drag it down, you'll see that the value of that increases only by the factor of years. Nothing else is changing in here. So if we go here, the only change we see is the A value, and that's what we want. The robot cost column is going to be another formula, and it's going to be an easy one. It's going to be the number of robots, and once again fully static, multiplied by the cost of the robots, and fully static. So we hit the F4 key, get the dollar signs there, checkbox, it's great. We're going to drag that down, and you'll notice that this should stay the same value for the entire column, and that's exactly what we want. Let's go ahead and put the commas in there, but no decimals, just to make it a little bit more readable. Commas, no decimals. Alright. Now the delta is a simple math subtraction. So we're going to put the equal sign up there, and we're going to take column B minus column C. And we want this to change as we go down. So we're not going to make any of these references static. We're going to hit the checkbox, and we are going to drag it down. And we will see that we're going to go from a negative value to a positive value. To make this column a little bit more readable, we're going to leave it highlighted like that, and we are going to click up here on conditional formatting, and we are going to select data bars, and just because I think it's the right color combination, I'm going to click on the green gradient fill here. And what you see now is that when it's a negative value, you have a red bar. When it's a positive value, you have a green bar. And let's expand this just a little bit. And so when we're talking about break even is where we go from negative to positive. So if we could see this here, and you have good color vision, you'll see that that's still a little bit of red. We go to green, so we know that we have broken even somewhere in year 9. That actually solves the first part of the assignment. You've done your break-even analysis. Now here's the thing, we can change these parameters up and we can get different results, and because we've done references, our results are always correct. So for instance, let's say we want 10 employees and 5 robots. Whoops, sorry about that. You'll see we break even that very first year. We put 10 robots up there and we have only 2 employees we're willing to get rid of, then it's going to take us a few more years to break even. Now, if we go back to the $40,000 specified in the assignment, you'll see that we break even a lot sooner, especially if we have equal numbers of employees. If we have 10 employees, 10 robots, we break even that first year. So you might want to just play around with some more reasonable numbers, like maybe $150,000, because robots aren't cheap. Just to give yourself some data that's more meaningful than a one-to-one relationship. So that concludes that part of the assignment.